Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Franchise Premier League Season 4. It's the start, the best of one. It's the Gauntlet, baby, between Control, Alt Elite, and TD Phoenix. There's one chance for both these teams in this one game to get the win and move on to Phase 2 of the Gauntlet. Let's see if they've got it in them to take this win and hopefully extend their season. It's Kebin, Dunk, True, and Siobhan once again. And yeah, things are getting spicy already, as you wouldn't get it. Getting invaded, Zaf getting some of that vision. And yeah, I think it's looking like these guys are not going to let you wouldn't get it get his perfect game plan.
Yeah, I mean, throwing down of wards and all, as you can see in the bot lane, a little bit of exchanging of blows as well, but nothing too out of the ordinary. As far as these setups for the two teams go, you can actually see that Winter there in the top lane for TD Phoenix does have that, fancy new old Deathfire touch for the Gangplank, so wants to stack up the burn onto Reginald Dwight, at least here in lane, to use up that parlay. Otherwise, nothing too shocking in terms of setup from both teams. You can see that Humble does have the Doran's Bow in the inventory, which has been a point of, I will say, some controversy for people. With Doran's Bow, you do have offensive stats, but you actually lose out on the additional health you would have from Doran's Blade, and some people say that, well, that's really painful, that's really annoying to deal with. But looks like Humble does like the stats that the bow provides. Looks like that's how they're going to play it out. Otherwise, everywhere else, everything seems typically normal for both these teams.
Yeah, Zelda guy getting bullied out a little bit. It is hard to play that control mage matchup against Victor. The Siphon is just such a good trading tool. You walk up, get the shield, get the extra damage burst, and there's not really much that a Lux can do against it, especially if you miss the bind. But Winter and Reginald swapping blows here, as we see Gravity Field getting that stun as well in the mid. Zelda guy just getting poked down constantly, and the bone plating is keeping Solomon pretty safe from the trades back. But in the top side, I think the Mordekaiser, like you said, take some time to kind of outscale Winter's Gangplank. It's just kind of about, can you run them down? Big turret shot there. Just thinking about the Doran's Bow as well. True, I haven't played a ton on the patch changes, but you'd think that, the bonus HP from D-Blade would be, a lot better against this double poke lane, but it seems like Humble's not really getting punished for it, so it seems like TDP are in a decent spot.
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of just what Humble needs to do in this lane, because you're just trying to abuse the fact that Ashe can farm at a relatively safe distance. Not only do you have a relatively long attack range, but you can also just throw out volley every now and then for poke and farming if necessary. As we were talking about earlier, the Zelda guy having a horrible time.
Oh no,
here comes
the horror continues as Zaf is just going to walk up on him, the stun from that gravity field, the flash away finally, but I think Solomon's just going to walk up and laser him. He does. The arcane death ray just comes down and Solomon gets a kill assisted by Zaf, just too far up, tried to trade, didn't have any mana for anything else, uses the flash and the barrier and still goes down, and not a single summoner was burned for Control Alt Elite, so that's got to be a painful one for Zelda guy as they have to walk back to lane now.
Yeah, not only did they have to walk back to lane without that TP, but as you see with where Solomon back and with how the wave is pushing, all of that is just going to be lost for Zelda guy on that Lux.
Oh, Ignite
just going to be able to walk back as well.
Oh, you wouldn't get it, I think. Didn't? I'm not sure if he got it, but I think it was a smite away from Zaf. But in the top side, Ignite traded for Ghost there in the top side. So Reginald Dwight's actually going to have to back off here.
Yeah, definitely not a great time for the Mordekaiser. As I was talking about, so much of your success in this lane is Mordekaiser's predicated off of landing your Death's Grasp. Because once you pull the Gangplank onto you, it's kind of hard for you to get out, especially once you have something like that Rylai's. But until then, if you're not landing that grasp, it feels really, really rough. As far as bot lane goes, you're actually starting to see that poke work in Lucy and Ethereal Ice's favor, though. So far, the late, the mid and the bot lane are heavily favored in terms of aggression over the CAE top lane, being a point of pain. As you can see, Winter is really starting to build up a decent CS lead over Reginald Dwight. But I honestly, even if the Mordekaiser falls a bit behind early, it's not the end of the world, although you can see you wouldn't get it coming in for a gang.
Yeah, this might be a dive attempt as we see. Yeah, Shadow in is clean, as you wouldn't get it, just executes him with that first strike, with that double Razor Shuriken, just no real way to react. Original Dwight goes down even after burning the flash. He wouldn't get it taken very low from the ramped up turret, but still is going to walk away clean. So again, it's going to be, yeah, the Gangplank just having domination with the help of the jungler. Good map movement from the top side, but it does mean on the opposite side, it's going to be Zap on the Jarvan picking up that bot lane support with the priority that the Misfortune and Seraphine have, and going to secure that first dragon pretty early on, just about 5.5 minutes for the team of Control Elite, and that's the Ocean Soul. That's a good amount of sustain for that early game. Oh, sorry, Ocean Drake, not Ocean Soul.
Yeah, and you get like you have the right idea, right? Like wrong name, but like the concept is still there. Like you are going to have that additional little bit of healing, which is always going to be nice to have. You're seeing, Lucy walk back into lane with the BF, the inventory, as opposed to Humble with that pickup, so that MF is going to continue to hit quite hard mid lane, though.
Oh, yeah.
The guy eating a whole chunk of damage.
Yeah, he's just going to trade the ult. For be forced back, but they do have the TP to return to lane.
Yeah, I mean the Victor is very much unbothered. I think that's generally the case for the MF and the Seraphine as well. Like you just have you hit so much harder this early on that even though Ashe Braum is a good combo, really until they hit 6, that Ashe Braum doesn't feel terribly threatening to you. Obviously, Mordekaiser is having an awful time in this top lane. Not only being down the assist gold, but also being down almost double your CS. That is horrible to be dealing with. You can see that Reginald Dwight, I believe, is working towards violence with that Giant's Belt in the inventory, but still, I mean, like the map is like breaking out very much on those lines, right? Top lane. Wait, Zelda guy's in trouble.
Zelda guy gets hit with the flag and drag, pops the barrier, but I think it's just another easy secure. He doesn't have the flash. Solman's just going to hit him with those little baby auto attacks and secure the second kill of the game. Zap making good on that gank timer, and Zelda guy just goes down. The flash still, I think, has about a minute back, so good repeat gank to really capitalize on the fact that Solman is absolutely dominating in terms of the health bars.
Yeah, and as you said, that Victor stays so safe, and with the additional shield, it's kind of hard, I think, for Zelda guy to really proc that. What's it? Deathfire Touch.
Dark Harvest, yeah.
Yeah, Dark Harvest. Yeah, it's I was like, no, it's not. Like Deathfire is what Winter has, but
that was the OG one.
Yeah, like either way, right? Zelda guy is having a horrible time here. He is farming really well, though, in comparison to Reginald is doing up here in top lane. Although you can see Winter going for it.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate pop by Reginald. Winter standing and fighting, but Zap is here to make it an easy secure afterwards. Winter trying to fight back, and I think Zap was just there to drop the shield and kind of get the slow, giving over the kill, so didn't want to KS there. I mean, fully great stuff from the jungler as someone who, doesn't like their kills getting stolen. And now, look at the top side, Cataclysm pop, that's the ultimate invested, and the flash traded as Lucci now getting hit with the death mark. The flash back straight into the encore means he gets charmed up, but now Humble's trying to lay down the arrows, the stun, almost there, it hits under turret. Humble tanking up the turret, though it takes one more shot too many, and that's going to be just a heartbreaker as Ethereal Ice barely alive. You wouldn't get it looking for the Shuriken, he gets an under turret, eats a turret shot in return, but it is going to live due to that ramp down of the turret. Now Coco missing the Winter's Bite, getting run down a bit by Lucci. I think Lucci probably could have killed him, but maybe was scared of the Zed still lurking there. And in the bot side, just a bit too aggressive of the spacing. Oh, actually,
oh my lord,
great job from the Zelda guy to steal one grub from Zaf, who doesn't actually have the smite, but bot side still rough. Oh my lord, did he get both? That is, I mean, Zelda guy, maybe you should switch to jungle, baby, because that's all 3 grubs stolen. Thanks for the leash, buddy, as Zap just kind of has to walk away sad and disturbed.
I mean, that's amazing for Zelda guy, right? To be able to just yoink that objective away, and you deny the grub from spawning by grabbing 1. Now you have, like, just superior tower damage with 2. I will also point out that you wouldn't get it actually stuck around in that bottom lane. They tried to eke out one more kill on Lucci's MF, but unfortunately for the Braum and the Zed, the MF comes away with that double kill there. So more gold into Lucci's pocket, and you can see that completed Bloodthirster already in the inventory. So that MF is going to continue to hit hard, and now has to sustain for the lane to boot. But Zelda guy, not only did you get the grubs, you also got a single kill off of the over-aggression from Reginald Dwight in that top lane as they tried to dive the Lux up there. So, number of good moves for both teams, although you can still see that gold lead is now much in the favor of Control Alt Elite. I think a lot of that is on the Victor on the MF. I will say these are the targets you don't want to let have the gold, right? Because of how terrifying their ultimates can be for these team fights, and we're actually going to have the Cloud Drake spawning in just a couple of seconds here. So it looks like TD Phoenix is going to have the inside route on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a big thing is if Lucci can get in range to hit, because, oh man, that's a big chunk from the double up. Just having the Bloodthirster over, like the full item over just components of the Ashe is going to be so huge for them. They have the sustain, so if they don't die to that initial burst, it'll be so hard to get the kill, but you wouldn't get it. Face checking into Zaf, shadows away, misses that Razor Shuriken. The ultimate from the Ashe, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide, so it doesn't actually hit anything. You wouldn't get it. Still has to back off, though, but that is the Ashe ultimate down for that fight. Means possibly there's another tool not available for TDP to cancel the MF bullet time, which is just so dangerous if you get that full channel. Lucci forcing the Braum out of the bush. The Scuttle Crab is there for the vision. Oh, the root hits big. Final spark onto Zaf, who's taking about half HP, and the fruit is not there to get them to heal anymore. I think they're just going to start this on vision. They're going for it, True.
Yeah, I mean, the final spark getting used, but also that Enchanted Crystal Arrow is giving them a fair bit of confidence
gets
here.
hit with everything, and the Zed jumps in. The stun is good, but the bullet time ripped through one. The Zed dies as we see Zap Cataclysm in. It's Zelda guy now 1v1ing Lucci, but he's healing back up with the auto attack. Can he take this fight?
The Dragon's hitting too.
Confident, and yeah, Lucci's taking it from both ends. Dodges the one line binding.
Oh, no.
The singularity that finishes as Zaf looks now for Humble, and he gets him with the Flag and Drag. Now Zaf hunting for Zelda guy. Actually healthier than at the start of this fight. The slow hits, but I don't think it's enough as Ethereal Ice is also there for the backup. Zap, he's just going to walk down Zelda guy, gets the smite for the slow. Oh, wait, actually the double snare hits, and he gets a kill on the back end. But unfortunately, it's not enough to kill Zap, but it was a good turnaround kill for Zelda guy to snipe Ethereal Ice, who was just standing in a straight line behind the Jarvan. The root from the light binding into the final spark that has such a low cooldown. It's just going to be a bloodbath in this bot river, and neither team secures the dragon here, True. I think, it's probably going to be very soon. They're going to be fighting over it once again, but on both sides, I think it was a 4-for-4. It's just everybody dying there.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolute carnage between both of those teams. I think that Control Alt Elite felt relatively confident to look forward because, okay, well, Arrow is down. This is their way to kick off fights, so we're going to have an angle, but because they have to commit for that dragon, you saw Coco walk forward, throw down the Glacial Fissure, and they did force the fight off of it, but as you pointed out, that bullet time is just so annoying to deal with. Even with Coco having Unbreakable up, you can't cover for your entire team when you're that far away as the Braum. You have to be almost right in front of the MF to really block a lot of those waves. So the bullet time was actually still effective. But these teams are getting out here, starting to fight over division for this dragon once again. But to finish up the thought, it is so sad to watch what happened to Zap and Ethereal Ice.
Final spark as well invested. Zap has to flash away to not take the damage. Didn't want to get slowed up by the volley. The Gravity Field is thrown down for the stun. And I think with that push, it's actually honestly hard to tell. It's a death mark in. Solomon taking some big damage. As we see here, he's actually trading back against the Zed effectively. You wouldn't get it, almost goes down, but the death mark doesn't kill Solomon, who walks right into the gangplank. It's going to get parlayed to death, and it's going to be Winter just roaming down, getting the drive-by shooting, and kills them. And now the huge... Whoa, actually, no, the Glacial Fissure goes completely wide. Lucci now taking a lot of damage, though, from You Wouldn't Get It. The Razor Shuriken just hit so hard. Oh my god, a flash forward to get the snipe on Humble with the double up. Coco flashes in, misses the Winter's fight. Winter is here, though, with a 4v3. Flash Encore hits nothing as Zap goes in the backline with the Cataclysm, with the Flag and Drake, but can't get a single kill in the backline. Coco is going to kill him with that Winter's Bite, and Winter's making all the difference here. The Pirate is just absolutely looting and shooting in this fight. I think it's just one more parlay to get the kill. It is no KS from You Wouldn't Get It, but the entire team fight is won off of the gangplank, just cruising up and absolutely just making... I don't even know a shooting range out of them because I think Winter picked up 2 kills there and helped secure 4 for his team.
Yeah, and it's a thin margin. As you can see, those low health bars, and You Wouldn't Get It Zelda guy Coco as well. And it did get kicked off with Winter being able to find that parlay kill onto Solomon, and eventually the gangplank is just able to walk forward onto the Seraphine. and lock that champion down too. Like,
Yeah,
the other thing is that Reginald Dwight just couldn't join the fight, or just at the very least chose not to, although Winter might be in a bit of
Yeah, I
trouble
think
this
he's
time
going to get
around.
the kill here because Winter gets jumped on with the Ghost. Death Realm invested. Winter already used the Ignite in that earlier fight and didn't have the Cannon Barrage either. So Reginald Dwight, you know, he's not there for the team fight, but at least he can pick up that solo kill for his side. But still, the Gangplank, I think, is not even behind in gold after picking up those 2 kills and so many assists. And I think the Gluttonous Grief stacks as well means that the Gangplank's in a quite good spot here. I mean, they're still pretty even. Reginald Dwight, yes, got the rundown, but Gangplank got the gold somewhere else on the map.
You're absolutely right about that, and I will say that might have been the most kills I've ever seen 2 teams commit for a single stack of Cloud Drake. But,
oh, wait. This fight, though, you wouldn't get it. He actually steals it! Wait, I didn't even know how he got that. He must have gotten the smite just at the last second. Zaf had it, but he's protecting the eyeball. We're going to get a instant replay here. It was so close.
Oh, no.
It must have been, like, what, 1300 HP, 1561. Exactly 1390. Oh my gosh, that one tick, and then you wouldn't get it. Actually can't pick up the eye, though, unfortunately, because he shadows back too quickly. And then now it's Zelda guy trying to secure it. Gets lasered down, gets run down. He gets caught off by Lucci, who's just going to drop the bullet time. Zelda guy, oh my god, just barely dodges out of it. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes. Wow, you wouldn't get it. Actually gets the heist and steals it from just beneath their nose as they looked for Zelda guy, who was just the distraction, and you wouldn't get it. Tom Cruise is in there, gets the Herald's Eye, and they actually get the heist successfully. So it's TDP just playing in the chaos like we wanted them to do, and they're actually succeeding in the team fights and in the objectives.
Yeah. I mean, that's just an insane series of events. You know, you have Zed shadowing in, laying down a perfectly timed smite, you know, getting the recast out, and then, you know, still being able to get out, and then after that, you know, being able to just run around with the interference that Zelda guy provides, living with a sliver of HP from those bullet time waves, and you're ultimately able to steal the objective, secure the eye. Lux doesn't die. You get out with everything you could have wanted. Now, the gold is still slightly in the favor of Control Alt Elite, and I will say that Control Alt Elite, if they're proving anything, this MF is still hitting quite hard. It's just the fact that they're not able to catch on to people as well as they would have liked. You know, the Zed is so mobile with those shadows. It's hard to get an engage onto the guy. And the other part of it is that when they're constantly split up and they're not able to actually play their game plan out, they are going to get split apart a lot easier. So I think that's kind of what Control Alt Elite is starting to run into here. It's hard for them to execute because they're not finding TD Phoenix grouped up the way that they want them to be. I think the later the game goes, though, I think the landscape of the game stays relatively the same. You're still more and more worried about getting hit by a strong combo, but with with the goal that you wouldn't get, it has been getting this early on, as well as a Winter. You know, everyone worries about those late game barrel combos. You're also worried about how low of a cooldown Enchanted Crystal Arrow and Final Spark are from TD Phoenix. Those picks could become pretty deadly towards the later phases of the game.
Absolutely here. I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Like, the later the game goes, the stronger your team fight comp is with the MF, with the Victor, with the Seraphine. But, you know, oh, wait, Final Spark, again, half HP Zaf. He's, practically probably the only person that can walk out of that one outside of the Mordekaiser without just straight up dying. But I was just, just to continue my point, the later the game goes, the harder those Gangplank barrels hit the, again, not having a front line, right? You get hit by a single barrel combo if it's not blocked, by Braum. I don't even know if Braum can block it, but, that's an entire health bar right there. And Humble's taking a long time to get online. And, Ashe isn't exactly like the 1v9 machine, but, she can get there without an enchanter if she gets to that late game. And from what it's seeing here, Shrew, is that it's definitely going to get there because both teams are playing a lot more carefully now. The gold is dead even, one dragon each for both, but it looks like Control Alt Elite are a little bit... Okay, it looks like they're poking around the blue buff. You wouldn't get it. Does sniff them out. It's 4 people here. It's quite dangerous if they want to contest this, as Reginald Dwight tries to get the drag back and can't get it. You wouldn't get it. Maybe you can get a steal, but this time it's going to go... Oh, wait, no, he got it! Okay, wait, we see the Light Binding hit. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Ooh, nice flag and drag just in time. Reginald Dwight now 1v1ing. You wouldn't get it. has him in the death realm, but I think he's starting to lose that as You Wouldn't Get It has to flash away. They're both so low. Oh, it's a nice shadow combo to get the kill. Encore only hits the Braum. The binding hits onto the Victor, who does get knocked up by the Glacial Fissure, but now look at the bullet time creating space. Humble gets exhausted. He just doesn't have the damage yet. Ethereal Ice not even scared of him as Lucci's going to walk him down. Look at the double up damage. It's a lot of low health bars as Zelda guy's still poking and prodding on the side. But ultimately, look at the map. It's going to be Winter collecting so many waves on the top side. The turret gold. Oh, wait, Zelda guy gets the final spark and kills him with the Storm Surge. I thought the fight was over, but I guess not. Oh, Zelda guy barely lives with that barrier against the Hex Tech right now. You Wouldn't Get It is back. It's a 3v3 here. I don't think the Lux can make it. Flash, Flag and Drag hits the backline. He gets it onto Humble, but he's still alive. The stun from the Braum passive gets the kill, but Solomon actually does get 2 kills back for a double. It's the TP a little bit late, but better late than never because Reginald Dwight makes it here after he dies to clean up the fight. And again, every fight around this Dragon Shrew is just absolute carnage. And to take it back to the top side, Winter didn't make it to that fight, and he's collecting plates on the top side, means the gold. Sure, it's still in TDP's hands, but Winter is a very rich man off of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, Winter doesn't need to TP into that fight, not like because what are you going to do in that situation as Gangplank other than hope to lay down some barrels and catch some people out? Yes, Winter was really successful in an earlier fight, just being able to walk in and parlay people. But it was a greater opportunity for the Gangplank this time around because you're able to just, oh, wait, You Wouldn't Get It looking for
this, but he's actually losing to the Victor. And then now Zap is just here. The laser misses, but the Flag and Drag hits, and You Wouldn't Get It, just getting too big for his britches and cannot get the kill. Oh, wait, Victor gets hit with the arrow, but it's not enough damage. But maybe the Cannon Barrage is. The final spark doesn't hit anything. And now Zelda guy has to flash away because he was stuck in place, channeling that, and Lucci was filling him with bullets. So in the end, it is still Solomon escaping. It is still going to be Control Alt Elite securing that only the second dragon. But look in the mid lane, Reginald Dwight might be in some trouble against 3. Locks the Braum into the death realm, but Humble and Winter are here to back him up. But now look at the team of Control Alt Elite who come up and help kill Coco. Flag and Drag can't get Winter, but the Cataclysm also wasn't available, and Winter just says, screw it, I'm flashing anyway. I don't want to get caught in that, and it's going to be just Control Alt Elite running away, not only with the second dragon, but with multiple kills and multiple summoner spells after that follow-up play.
Honestly, with what just happened to Solomon, like, you survive that sort of thing, you just go into all chat, you're like, are you not entertained? So you just, like he ate 80% of the ultimates.
And now it's 100%, I think, of Winter's health bars. He just gets lasered down by Solomon. You Wouldn't Get It is here for some poke afterwards, but just getting run down by that Cataclysm. He didn't have the flash because he used it earlier, and the J4 says, yeah, I'll pick that one up. Wait, Zelda guy looking, gets the Singularity, final sparks into the bush. Oh my god, look at the damage. It hits 3, but the Storm Surge unfortunately does not go on to Zap. It went on to Reginald, so it's not going to be a kill there for Zelda guy, but that Lux is starting to hurt real bad, and Ethereal Ice can heal them for 1, but I think now he might be in some danger as he wouldn't get a Death Mark onto him. The backline damage is good. The Encore hits, though. The stun also hits Solomon, but it's a trade. It's not even a trade kill, actually. You Wouldn't Get It still alive. As the stun keeps Solomon in place, he runs away after using that Arcane Storm. You Wouldn't Get It. A nice assassination. Even burns the Seraphine ulti, which, you know, isn't a super long cooldown, but that is relevant. And You Wouldn't Get It, just playing the ninja he is, swoops in, gets the kill in front of Solomon, and just walks out and picks up the gold.
Yeah, I absolutely like. You Wouldn't Get It as far as like Zed is concerned, right? It's been staying super slippery in a lot of these fights. You know, last death, a bit of an overstay. Solomon's canceled his back, but like for the most part, the Zed has been staying relatively untouched. And you know, talking about what Zed is actually doing here, you do see that Serpent's Fang in the inventory as well, which is actually makes a whole lot of sense because everybody on the side of Control Alt Elite actually has a shield in some way, shape, or form, and Seraphine's shielding can get quite high, although this is definitely a more damage-focused build from Ethereal Ice, with you, as you can see, the Leandri's in that inventory. But having that Serpent's Fang, you know, being able to hit multiple people with your abilities, especially with the little spin that you can do as Zed, does mean that you're reducing that shielding in a fairly meaningful way. Like, the map overall is very much favored towards TD Phoenix at the moment, but they kind of need to continue pulling off the success they had in the previous Dragon, around the previous Dragon fight, because that gave Winter so much time to split push. If they aren't able to pull that off, then like it's kind of hard for them outside of having several successful picks and then looking to push or then getting an objective, and that's kind of where it feels like their team is starting to struggle because they don't have those strong, they don't have a strong team fight comp. They can take skirmishes extremely effectively, but if they're all grouped up, they're actually kind of in danger.
Oh wait, on this top side here, we're fighting over his scuttle. Solomon slowed up, in some danger, gets hit by that singularity, and the final spark gets a shield from Etherealize, but that's still half HP off the Victor, and that is a very low cooldown on that Lux ultimate, as she's almost on that 3 items after the Rabadon. Do you think that Lux is going to start one-shotting people even more than before? The gold lead is only about 2,000 gold. I said that it would probably be an early Dragon Soul, but apparently not, because it's 25 minutes and we're nowhere close. It's getting tense here, True, as Humble starting to scale, but still quite down a bit of gold against Lucci's Misfortune. Ultimately, I think it's, pun intended, whoever can get their ultimate off at a right angle. Like, if Zelda guy gets the multi-man final spark, that's just the health bar's gone. There's no tank. Oh, Reginald. Okay, almost took a bit of damage there from the Razor Shuriken, but now on this side, look at the damage. Humble's just going to run down Lucci, who does get a barrel combo to extend it, but we see Zelda guy getting jumped on from Zaf. Doesn't have the flash and just has to walk away. You wouldn't get the backline kill on Ethereal Ice, and the team fight is messy. Winter locked in the death realm. The flag and drag. The Glacial Fissure hits nothing, as we see here Solomon trying to frontline and just gets killed by the Zed. It's a trade kill back from the Mordekaiser to get the gangplank, but he's stuck now in a 1v3. You wouldn't get it. Has so much damage. It's going to rip through the Iron Man with the blades, and it's Zelda guy actually securing that with that singularity. And in the end, the team fight is a 4 for just 1. TD Phoenix, we said that if they hit the ultimates in the right spot, they'll get it, and they absolutely did. Humble with that great arrow to secure the kill onto Lucci means that the team fight is just a complete win for them afterwards. There's no Dragon up, but Baron is. I'm not sure if they'll go for it. Oh, wait, Dragon is up. Yeah. What the heck? Okay. Yeah, it is up, and they're going to secure that off that team fight win.
Yeah, and that's what you were getting at about finding the right angles. It's also something that you were talking about that could be a problem for Control Alt Elite. Really a problem for both of these teams, but more so for Control Alt Elite. If no one is able to tank up, that little bit of CC, that means that your primary targets can get annihilated. And I think if MF is alive, if Lucci is actually there for that fight, it might be a lot different. Because it's the MF that dies first, it's hard to pull off, the strength of your team fight composition. Solomon gets soloed out as well, and everyone just gets picked to pieces afterwards. So it illustrates why Control Alt Elite, they need to be grouped up properly. They need to make sure that you have that J4 at the very least be the one to tank up their short range Enchanted Crystal Arrow. I honestly might be like, hey, Seraphine, you gotta bite the bullet here, right? Get the darn Mikhails, so it makes their ability to look for picks and, get a, binding or an arrow into Final Spark that much harder, because it denies their ability to just, solo, to just blast one person to pieces. Because if MF's DPS isn't really there and, they can't keep the Victor alive either, then absolutely Control Alt Elite will fall to pieces. And just a couple of minutes ago, you were looking at a situation where you wouldn't get it. It was 4, 3, and 5, which is not as glamorous a scoreline. Oh, there's another arrow.
Oh no!
Jeez.
Oh, like you were saying, I don't know if a Mikhail's would have saved him there, but that's 2 ultis to kill a Misfortune, and I think that might be Baron on the table here, True.
Well, I mean, it also just re-illustrates the issue of why are we letting MF walk up alone?
That also, you wouldn't get it though. Jumps onto the Jarvan, gets the Deathmark Ball. Glacial Fissure used up. The Concussive Blows gets the stun, and the final spark from downtown. Zelda guy secures the kill on Zaf. That is now the AD carry and the jungler down. Surely you'd think it's going to be Control Alt Elite losing this Baron as TDP just get 2 good picks in a row. Yeah, like you said, why are we letting the MF get into fire range of the Ashe, and then you wouldn't get it, just jumps in with the Shadow and absolutely one-taps him. That's a free Baron. Humble is now, on parity with the gold, I think, after that. And, the mid-jungle duo of TDP are looking so dangerous in this late game.
Yeah, I mean, the Zed and the Lux are just going to hit harder and harder, and you're going to see Zelda guy getting back into base. He has the fully stacked up Dark Seal working on a Death Cap. Like, the Lux is hitting really, really hard at this point, and so is the Zed. Like, with all that lethality and like the general lack of armor items coming through from the side of Control Alt Elite, their survivability is so limited, right? Like, you do see that Solomon has the upgraded MR boots, but like that doesn't really do anything against Zed, and really what you're hoping for is a little bit of increased survivability against Lux's burst, which at this point is just beyond what little MR that you have and what those defensive stats really provide you with the upgraded Merc Trads. So yeah, the Lux is a massive problem. The Zed is a massive problem, and I think that honestly, Control Alt Elite, maybe with an exception of like one or two, maybe two fights, they have yet to really successfully execute this team fight composition, and they've been allowing themselves to get picked off or split up, and that only plays into the strengths of GD Phoenix's comp here.
Absolutely, the arrow barely gets dodged as we see Reginald get jumped on with the Death Mark. It's the Death Realm against the Death Mark, and I think the Death Mark is winning as we wouldn't get it, just jumped in with the Shadow. Maybe Reginald could trade it back, but he cannot. We wouldn't get it living, just barely on 10% HP, but he gets that Shadow Slash to cut Mr. Iron Man in half, and with the Baron push, it's going to be the side of TDP knocking down on that front door, the top tier 3, and the inhib to fall like paper as Zelda guy continues hitting onto the turrets. Actually, the Void Grubs that he's still doing a lot of damage as we see, misses everything onto Solomon, and now gets slowed up by the gravity field. The slow from that passive as well. He has to flash away. It's going to be a flash forward into the flag and drag. Zaf catches him with it, and it's a shutdown over to the MF, but look at the damage. That was one binding onto Lucci, and almost, that was a kill. Sorry, not a kill, but that was almost half his HP, and, you know, yes, you get a trade back, but you invest the flash, you lose that tier 2 in the mid now as well, and you know, Control Alt Elite, you know, don't get me wrong, that's a good play to kill the Lux, but they're not really getting anything more off of it, and it's just TDP just running away with the gold lead after that Baron power play, and they are looking huge. This Zed is looking indestructible because he 1v1 the Mordekaiser in his own ulti and didn't break a sweat.
I mean, it was a bit close. Like, if you wouldn't get it, did land that last Death's Grasp, it would actually be a 1-for-1 trade, I believe. But the important thing about killing Lux in this situation is that Chemdrake has spawn. Right? You have 10 seconds before
the arrow
guy gets in. There's the arrow. Yeah, it's long range one. They're going for it.
Death Mark into the barrel combo, flag and drag away. Glacial Fissure hits onto multiple members, but Coco's locked in the Death Realm, but I think that's probably the worst target as Coco's just going to live long enough, I think, and then Reginald Dwight's going to be locked in a 4v1. The Encore hits absolutely nothing as Humble is going to get slowed up. Can walk away, the heal burnt by Coco, and finally now it's Zelda guy making it to the fight, but look at the base, he's taking a lot of damage. Reginald gets hit with that final spark, the lasers are zoning, you wouldn't get it, he's looking for an angle in. The cannon barrage is big, Solomon taken so low by the Lux, the jump over with the blast cone, the Zanya's in response as we see the kills going over the Humble, the bullet time getting one back, and the Dragon goes over to Zaf. It's going to be TDP looking for some cleanup kills, though, as Reginald's still trying to stand and fight. You wouldn't get it, has to jump away with the Shadow as he gets hit with the Obliterate. The base is in shambles, but in the end, TDP can't get much more. Flash over from Winter. He drops a barrel, but I don't think he can get the combo off. Gets the movement speed, gets the parlay, the ignite as well into the auto attack. Trial becomes fire, gets the kill, but in the bot lane, it's Zaf in a 1v1 against Zelda guy, and he's starting to lose just barely. The Storm Surge gets the execute as Lucci is going to be the one to finish off the Lux, and you wouldn't get it is here. The Ninja's making his move to flank, misses the double shuriken though, and it's going to be Lucci who just blasts him, but look at the base! They just took way too long to get back, and in the end, the base is in shambles, and it's Braum, and it's Gangplank to just walk it down mid lane, cancel the recalls because it is TDP closing out the game in this best of 1 to make it to round 2 of the Gauntlet here, True. Hello everyone, welcome back. Is it the FPL fans calling? It is, because we return with game 2 of the Gauntlet night. It's going to be Mint Ice Cubes and Andromeda Esports fighting for the last playoff slot, as both these teams are just putting it all on the line in this best of 1, and only one team can make it out alive. So it's Kebin Dunk on the play-by-play. It's True on the color cast, and True on production. And we're here to take you to the last game of the night between these two teams. I think they both really want it. So yeah, we'll see which one ends up coming out on top. As top lane, Already some scrapping between these two top laners, Saint of Aegis and Concrete Muncher, just trading blows, and it looks like it's pretty even, but Saint of Aegis is going to push him back, and Concrete Muncher with that range advantage can get some of those bullets fired back.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to force the dismount from Saint very early on here, but both top laners do have Ignite, so it might signal that whoever gets that early kill might have a way happier time in the lane as opposed to their counterpart. As far as the setup for both of these teams go, nothing too shocking, although you can see that Darius does have the cleanse there on the Corki, which I think is very fair considering the limited amount of CC, but how impactful it can be for the side of Mint. Otherwise, I think, yeah, the setups are all relatively normal. Starts are all relatively normal. Nothing too shocking from either team.
Yeah, absolutely. But the level 2 from that double ranged means that Zig is able to bully out both Stizra and Darius. Is it Stizra? Stizra. I gotta get some better pronunciation on that. But Stizra.
No, I think you're right. I think it's Stizra, yeah.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, but Stizra taking about half HP, that level 2 lead from the Ashe. Janna, like the Alistar can't really do anything, right? It's just the headbutt away and you still get slowed down by the Ashe. But now in the top lane, some scrapping, jump back in from Saint of Aegis, but he's flipped back by the Disdain. I think it's just a solo kill as Saint of Aegis shoots the shotgun and jumps into the turret shot. That is a really funny way to die, but unfortunately it is Saint of Aegis going down. Concrete Muncher picking up a solo kill, but in the mid lane it might be Jellybean Jeff getting one of his own. Canada taken very low, both mid laners saving the flash. I think a flash with the timed fuse passive of the Ziggs might have been able to kill as Canada caught backing in a dangerous spot. And I think Jellybean Jeff's going to force him out of lane. Canadian's going to collect this, but after seeing Panay on the top side, it's going to be i3Nobi being able to steal away that red buff.
Yeah, it's a good response, especially considering that Panay actually got nothing. And oh, wait, Jellybean Jeff is going to find i3Nobody on his way out there. But yeah, like I do like the response from Wukong. Seeing that your counterpart is showing up there in top lane and got nothing for it, right? Maybe a little bit of XP, sure, but didn't even get assist gold, and now able to get that scuttle as well. So now Panay is just going to be down at least one camp here because you're behind on the scuttle timing. You're behind. You can't even defend your red, so that means Wukong going to go straight for his buff. I might also go into the other scuttle, but we'll see. Otherwise, obviously, Concrete Muncher are really happy with how things go there. And that's also why it's tough for Kled. When you get dismounted like that against the Urgot, who is more than happy to have you close, it's going to feel really, really rough. Although those minions are hurting that Urgot right now up there at the top.
Absolutely. Oh, bot lane. It's a 1-level lead. Frisky's on a ward, but I don't think it's going to be Stizra. There we go. Stizra going for that play. But on the top side, oh my god, another solo kill. I don't know if we can get a replay on that, but both top laners burn the Ignite. We'll see here. Concrete Muncher just walks up on a Saint of Aegis almost on that remount timer. And I think maybe Concrete Muncher just flash flips him. Yeah, he does that exactly, and there's no time for a remount, so great play from Concrete Muncher. The flash disdain is just perfect. There's not a single chance for Saint of Aegis to react unless he flashed preemptively, but yeah, that's 2 kills early for that Urgot, who's going to have a massive lead over this Kled.
Yeah, and considering that neither top laner has TP, you do see that Concrete Muncher did stick around a little bit longer to make sure that the wave does crash in towards Saint. But yeah, this Kled is not going to have a good time. I mean, Kled is a champion who, like the whole idea is that you fight when, conventionally you probably wouldn't be doing so. But now you're down 2 kills. It's going to be a precarious situation for Kled to handle at this point. Urgot more than happy to just sit on all that AD. But it's not a great time for the Kled. I mean, looking at the other lanes, obviously I Fear Nobody slightly still ahead on the tempo as far as the jungle clear is concerned. Still does have that lead on the Wukong there. Things are going decently in mid lane. Like Canada did eat a lot of damage early, but has also been farming quite well. So even though the Kled is kind of getting hammered here, there are some small silver linings for the side of Andromeda. You're really just hoping that the Corki and the Mel don't fall behind early so they can have an easier time scaling up.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see on the screen here, we have a bit of a pause. So hopefully we'll get that cleaned up soon. We'll give some updates as soon as we hear them from production. But for now, yeah, I mean, same kind of. Oh, we're back. I was gonna say same kind of feelings like with the Corki. The Corki melt. You just want to scale and hope that you can survive that early mid-game spike that is the Pantheon Ziggs Ash, right? Like pretty much nowhere on the map is safe unless you are the Mel that can reflect one back. But even then, the Pantheon, if they're on top of you with that Grand Starfall, there's no real place for you to go, as you can't block the stun. And I think the 2-0 Urgot means that a lot of pressure that the Pantheon would have to stay top means that he can go somewhere else.
Yeah, I certainly do agree with you there. Like, I think that ultimately I want to see Panay be a bit more active as this Pantheon. Like, he did look for the early gank into top lane. Unfortunately, like it just didn't pan out because Concrete Muncher was able to get the solo kill. But I really, for their sake, I want this Pantheon to be active. Like you really need to set that Mel and or that Corki behind, just because the scaling feels so annoying to fight against.
We got some light scrapping in the top side, but I don't think there's going to be much. I think Saint of Aegis knows that he can't really win that being 2 full kills down. But with that bot side prio, I guess they didn't even have prio. It's just the extra member there on the bot side. It's going to be Andromeda being able to pick up that first dragon. The Wukong is, like you said, pretty far ahead in terms of farm over Panay, who I think just wants to try to power farm and hit 6 so that they can start impacting the map. And it is just, I think it's pretty tragic for Saint of Ages as his wave is frozen in front of Concrete Muncher. And he's going to lose quite a bit of farm, I think, to this freeze if the Urgot is able to keep it up.
Yeah, and as you said, it's really hard for Kled to be fighting into this. Like, especially, like, yes, you do have Flash, but like, no one has Ignite. You're just contending with how hard this Urgot is hitting. It's really... Down bot lane, though, you can see that it's also, once again, not enjoyable for Alistar to typically be in this sort of position. They're just
pop. This is an all-in from Zig and Frisky. Now Sizra locked up, but he flash headbutts back in the Janna. Flash forward from Darius, but the Frost Bomb misses. The heal used. Darius tries to get the kill back, but he can't. But look at the moves from I Fear Nobody, who gets in, jumps forward with the Nimbus Strike. It's the flash invested by Zig as well as the Ghost, so Zig is going to escape, but it is going to result in a 1-for-1. Ash picking up the kill on Darius's Corki, and I Fear Nobody on the Wukong collecting that kill on Frisky MMO. But ultimately, it's a lot worse for that Corki that we did talk about needs that time to scale. The levels aren't even bad on Corki due to the, maxed out Rocket Barrage cooldown. And Zig is going to be able to collect that big wave as well and just be further ahead of their lane opponent.
Yeah, like it's an annoying situation for Darius to contend with for sure. Like they were trying to feed that kill into Corki, make sure that it becomes a 1-for-1 trade at least, and ultimately it is. But the gold goes over to I Fear Nobody on the Wukong. Corki ends up going down. So May has been spotted out here in the jungle, although it's a little bit of a helping hand, I'd say, from Sizra to make his way on out of there.
Yeah. I think it worked out for Sizra. He's just using his support roam timer to make it to the top side and kind of, help out. But Frisky also making the move here. I mean, mid lane is quite even. It's just about a one wave minion lead for the side of Canada, but now on the top side, Disdain misses. Saint of Aegis gets the cheeky pullback, but really knows he can't fight continually, right? He is down quite a bit of gold. And yeah, pickaxe is much better than than 2 long swords. But now ultimate use, the pullback from the bear trap. Is there enough damage here? Grand Starfall used to counter the gank, but the ultimate used, the suppress actually gets canceled because I Fear Nobody gets the kill, and it's going to be Benet now taken very low by the Wukong. I don't think he can continue fighting this, but the Ziggs makes it to the fight. And in the bot side, it is an all-in on Frisky MMO, who's taken quite low. Level 6 popped by Stizra, gets that unstoppable, unbreakable will as Jellybean Jeff trying to clean up 2. The remount at the perfect time, the spear at the right second. Can Benet secure the kill? He can, just barely alive. Saint of Aegis trying to trade back with that auto attack, and I Fear Nobody almost died again to that bouncing bomb, but the roam from Jellybean Jeff makes all the difference, collecting a kill on the top side just to even up at 1-1. So in the end, I mean, it was a full roam from the mid laner to trade it back. Canada gets a lot of, oh my god, Panay, don't die to the grubs, but Panay, almost dying there. Oh, okay, he's fine, but Canada gets a lot of time in the mid lane with the plates, with the farm, and it's going to be Jeff, losing a bit out on that roll quest as well to make that roam happen. Trades at 1-for-1, and gold is practically dead even at this point still.
Yeah, like close to being a dead heat between these two teams for sure. I do want to say shout out to Canada. Uh, Zig actually sent Enchanted Crystal Arrow up towards that fight in top lane, but Canada actually intercepted it with the rebuttal and sent it back. So you actually saw an arrow go down. Wait, Saint? Gets hit by the Saint. He went back in.
Okay, this is interesting, but he's actually winning the fight. Concrete Muncher taken low, doesn't have the ultimate or the ignite. Saint of Aegis gets dismounted and forces out the flash. That is very interesting. That I mean, I'm surprised Saint of Aegis is winning these trades. Like we said, like he's pretty down in gold and down a wave, but Concrete Muncher just gets too close to the rabid animal and gets bit. But Saint of Aegis now looking for the remount. Concrete Muncher is quite low. I think if Saint managed to get the remount, he could die, but I don't think he's gonna go for it. Just gonna back off and take the recall here.
Yeah, the damage proc from Violent Tendencies hits pretty darn hard, so it's not terribly surprising that Saint is able to kind of trade back in terms of damage, especially having that Brutalizer in the inventory. So yeah, the Kled can still hit hard. Like, it's not really like, oh man, he got one kill and now it's so difficult for me. It's really just the fact that Kled needs to itemize raw AD, where Urgot, like diversifying the build a little bit because you're working on that Black Cleaver, you're getting the health in your inventory. Meanwhile, if you are Kled, it's just all about doing damage, all about trying to be as risky as possible. The other thing is that the pullback on Bear Trap on a rope actually does a surprising amount of damage that a lot of people don't account for. So yeah, some decent things now happening for Saint of Aegis up there in that top lane. See that the Void Grubs as well go over to the side of Andromeda, so they're very happy about the neutral objective situation going on. Overall, I would say that Corki and Mel have been relatively unbothered outside of Darius's one death earlier, so I think that even in spite of like the tiny gold deficit that they're at, I'd say Andromeda are pretty happy with the current pace of.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta agree with you there. True. I mean, I Fear Nobody is happy to just kind of power farm. Like, the less map. Oh my god, I should have caster cursed him, as now Canada is about pretty low. Walks up for the Solar Snare, but gets stunned. Taken very low, pops the rebuttal, but the charge in from the Kled goes on a Concrete Muncher, gets the disdain.
Arrow's coming.
Monsoon is big. The arrow is coming, and it doesn't get anything. As Saint of Aegis has managed to walk away. The Cyclone invested. Radiant Barrage misses, but there's so much chaos going around. I Fear Nobody taken so low. Can they get the kill? Golden Eclipse kills Pantheon, but on the backside,
the remount!
The kill back on the Wukong, but the remount here, Zig is caught between an angry Kled and Canadian. Frisky has to run away now. Jellybean Jeff on the run, gets stunned up and gets blown up by the false bomb. So in the end, like you said, Andromeda are very happy, and I think they're even happier because they got a 4-for-1 off that team fight, and maybe even second dragon in a row. The Kled created so much chaos, and I think what happened is that the Monsoon knocked away the Urgot so that the Fear Beyond Death missile actually whiffed. They can't get the execute. They can't continue the fight. The Kled remounts and gets another kill on Zig, who tried to everything they could to secure it, and they just cannot. So it's by the slimmest of margins that Andromeda Esports, with that lead, go big as they get so many kills and this dragon as well.
Yeah, I mean, their neutral objective control has been great, and as you said, off the back of that fight, they have actually started to grow a decent gold lead for themselves. Wait, Panay's going in. He wants to stop the backs.
Canceling the backs. Oh my god, the flash forward in the Comet Sphere gets the kill on the cow. It's a big shutdown. Darius slowed up. Can they get the kill on him? He barely survives, and I Fear Nobody here to play interference. So Darius, barely living there, had to also burn the flash to live, but in the end, it's only one return kill on the chase back. Stizra somehow had a shutdown, which does go over to Monet. But in the end, I mean, you claw back a little bit of gold, but Andromeda are still pretty far ahead in terms of the objectives, and they have that scaling advantage, so it's up to Mint Ice Cubes to put the pressure on them.
Yeah, Mint, I mean, like, I wanted to see the Pantheon be more aggressive in the lanes, and we're kind of getting to that point where laning phase will be over within the next 5-10 minutes. And I would say that with what Mint were building for themselves early on still wasn't sufficient, but now they're at the point where gold is actually not in their favor, only so slightly. Like, you do see those items coming through for that Corki, for that Mel, the Triforce on the Corki, the Ludens on the Mel, and that means that those champions are going to be scaling up reasonably well. Like, Zig is not anything to scoff at on this Ashe. Like, tragically in the last fight, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow only hit Stizra, who was able to just pop Unbreakable Will afterwards anyway. The other part of it was that Zig also flashed aggressively looking for the kill on Saint, Oh, wait,
Wait, the
speaking of
charge,
Sadie's
though.
coming in.
Canadian taking so low, the flash away from Jellybean Jeff, but Saint of Asia still wants this. Can he get the damage? He can. Look at the big damage from that Profane Hydra. The TP comes in from Concrete Muncher, who's looking for it. Enchanted Crystal Arrow misses. It's Saint of Aegis 1v1ing Panay. He tries to get the mount up, but he cannot, as it's going to be the Comet Spear run through Kled's heart, as it's going to be just Scar running away. Stizra looking for a play, though. He saw that Ash was alone and tried to go for it, but now he's taking a lot of punishment in response. Big one misses. Zig now has the movement speed, has the extra AD from the Janna, but he's taking a lot of damage as he gets comboed and hit with the Frost Bomb. Darius turning it around with the Gatling gun. Stizra popping the unbreakable will, as it's going to be a trade of ultimates in the bottom side. Frisky looking for Darius. He's, taking a lot of damage from those Gatling plus the Triforce auto attacks, and in the end, it is just a couple of ultimates used in the bot side, but no kills. In the mid lane, it's just a 1-for-1 as Pantheon cleans it up. But man, Saint of Aegis, even going down 0-2, is playing Kled like how Kled is supposed to be played, just absolute psycho, and going for the plays and getting rewarded from it.
Yeah, I mean, being able to use your mount, your mount up and your dismount effectively and looking for dives like that is what Kled wants to do. Although Saint might be in a little bit of trouble now as he has to trade the mount life against Concrete Muncher. But yeah, the Kled very happy with how things are going. You have that Profane Hydra in your inventory right now, plays towards the idea of Kled getting quite thirsty. And surprisingly so. And I think that's kind of what Jellybean Jeff was caught off guard by. This guy's hitting so much harder than I expected to, even though I dodged away from the hit from charge. So yeah, Kled more than capable of diving a squishy target even under the turret. But yeah, that being said, wait,
Grand Starfall in, the stun into the Mega Inferno Bomb and the Ash ultimate just to secure it, I guess. But that is going to be a good kill onto the Mel, secured by the Mega Inferno Bomb. And yeah, Jellybean Jeff just constantly poking and prodding Canadian means that he is going to pick that one up with the help of Panay, who's, like you said, finally making himself available on the map to make the plays. And I think that's going to net Mint Ice Cubes this Rift Herald. Yeah, I don't think it can be contested because the mid lane, Canadian is dead for another 10 seconds, but bot lane 1v1, ooh, okay, it's a Valk away. It's just testing each other, but Zig and Darius both, getting a little scrappy with each other in the bot side.
Yeah, as far as the bot lane scrapping goes, I think that, things have been kind of difficult, or, at least surprisingly so for Zig and Frisky, because yes, Janna is an Alistar counter, but kind of what has been happening relatively consistently is oh wait, top lane.
Okay, top lane, flip back from the disdain. Saint of Aegis taking a big chunk, but the trade back with the autos is good. Dive on the bot side, though. Cyclone invested to knock up Jellybean Jeff, but the Crushing Bull actually hits a minion, but I think there's enough cleanup available here as Darius gets the drive-by ultimate with the Rocket Barrage. Now the roam from the bot side is Panay. He is very strong with that fully completed Sundered Sky, but it's not going to be enough because he can't get in range, and Canada is there for the backup. So Darius picks up that tier 1 bot turret after a good dive onto Jellybean Jeff, and I Fear Nobody going to escort his team out. It's an easy pick on that bot lane, and I don't know if they're looking for more. I think they're just going to go straight for this dragon. I'm not sure if Mint Ice Cubes can actually contest this.
No, I don't think they can. It's so hard for them to walk in here. Yes, Panay does have flash, so if you really want to look for a flash steal, that is an option. And looks like
he's going for it. Comments a bit early though. He gets it.
And he gets knocked out too.
Headbutt out to help him get away. It's Mr. Stizra, unfortunately being just a bit too slow on that headbutt to keep out the Pantheon. The Pantheon gets the steal, and it's just a headbutt to him to safety. So a bit of a mistake from, pun intended, from the Alistar, the cow, bumping him out. But Panay very happy to get that steal. I mean, it looks kind of sus because he flashed and it was still about 2k HP, but he managed to secure it before getting booted out. So great job from Panay to make that play. Wait, topside, ultimate straight up for ultimates, a flash away from Saint of Aegis to get away. He sees Panay, I think, on this. Gets slowed up by that charge, and Panay gets to the stun with that shield bolt. Is there enough damage to knock out the Kled? There's no ultimate from Urgot available. They go in, the flip on the turn, and surely that's a kill. It's Panay getting that last spear stab again, securing a good gank on the top side. So it's going to be Concrete Muncher now getting a lot of free time on this turret. I think Panay wants to help him break this down and use the Herald as well. So on the top side, it's Mint Ice Cubes making a lot of great plays. And yeah, that bot lane steal made Panay just, kind of pop off.
Yeah, I mean, I fully justified, right? Oftentimes, you flash into his jungle, you think that's a one-way trip. And not only did Panay flash, he flashed early, right? As you said, that was like a 2k HP on the dragon, and it kind of looked like it it shocked Andromeda. Like, oh, whoa, he's here. And so, like, some of them kept hitting the dragon, and the others stopped, and then the Pantheon just able to yoink it away with that smite. And gets the assist from Secret Agent Stizra to get out of there. Wait,
oh man, Grand Starfall gets the slow. Canadia now getting bonked, reflects the arrow to get the stun, and I think the Super Blast Cone is good enough to get them out. So Flash and the rebuttal used to get out of that. Headbutt Pulverize gets canceled by the Janna Tornado. And man, Canadia just barely living there with the skin of their teeth because, yeah, there was so much damage from that Mega Inferno Bomb. The Grand Starfall actually got the slow for the follow-up, so they had to flash, but the Reflect was just good enough to keep Zig stunned there and is going to get away. So both teams making really good plays across the map here, True.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, like, Canadia is just not really incentivized to use rebuttal on anything other than Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Maybe on Concrete Muncher. Right, on Fear Beyond Death, like, but that's about it. Like, there's not much that you're going to be thinking, like, yeah, I got to use rebuttal here as Mel for Canadia. So I fear nobody. See, Panay may have been, like, angling for a stun, like, hoping you have enough vision over wall to stun somebody.
Okay.
TP's coming in.
And yeah, TP invested. The dismount is very close as Concrete Muncher now trying to kite away. Canadia gets the TP. Now the dismount happens. I Fear Nobody is here. Has the Cyclone available. Are they going to use it? They do. Concrete Muncher gets the Mega Blast Cone, though, after the disdain, and it's going to flash in front of the turret. But, oh my god, backwards. Is he going to tank up enough? Stizra looking for the kill, and he gets it. The Flash Headbutt keeps the Urgot under turret for just long enough for that last turret shot to get the kill. So Stizra does pick up the kill. He does the secure on the Urgot, but I'm not sure if Andromeda can get much more after that. It was a lot burnt. It was the Cyclone. It was the charge. It was the TP from Canadia to just get the Urgot kill, and it was only on the Alistar. So they're trying to force into the Mint jungle, and I think they're going to get top turret and maybe this blue buff, but it's a bit dicey here. Frisky, I think, knows that they're there.
I'd assume so. But like at the same time, I don't think that there's much that Frisky can really do in that situation. Yes, you have the Ziggs in the Pantheon, but it's not exactly a fun angle to be walking into. Saint really committing for this lethality Kled build, and you can see the Voltaic Cycle Sword in the inventory as well. So the guy just wants to be a split push threat, but also threaten really anyone that tries to match him. Like that Urgot is, like playing towards the bruiserish idea, but with that amount of armor penetration that you have with Saint from that lethality, it should still be relatively even, especially with the remounting for that Kled. Dragon is up in less than a minute, though, and you can see that Andromeda, they're the ones who have started to establish a little bit of forward vision for that objective. Last time, their soul point was denied from Panay being able to flash over the wall. This time,
hard to activate it. Can Panay get in front of it, though? He cannot, so the ultimate invested to get a clean escape for the Kled. I think Panay was looking to get in front of him, but Flash still wasn't up yet, and I think it would have been dangerous to flash in front of that Kled ulti, but I Fear Nobody sees an angle here, jumps on Jellybean Jeff, gets a chunk with the crushing blow, but there's no follow-up, so Jeff is going to satchel away and stay safe. On the top side, though, Concrete Muncher doing a lot of work to that turret. Canadia, I think, might not be in time to actually stop it. Oh, yeah, maybe
Canadia's responding to this, but the Mel doesn't have TP available. The Urgot does.
And Jellybean Jeff now in a lot of danger. Jumped on by the Cyclone. The Monsoon activated the flash forward from Darius, though. He gets the kill with the big one. Monsoon activated to blow back, but Darius taken low. But there's not enough for a kill. Finally, Panay gets him. It's a double headbutt into the Pulverize. Concrete Muncher gets the flip back. Panay now looking for I Fear Nobody, and they're going to grind the cow down to ground beef. And it's the TP a bit late from Saint of Aegis, who makes it now, chooses to move instead of going to the turret. And like you said, Canadia had to make the walk all the way down from topside. He gets the root, though, onto the Ash. Zig taken, not too low. Saint of Aegis scrapping continually with the Urgot as they're trying to force out I Fear Nobody on the Wukong. Canadia looking for some damage with that Radiant Volley. Gets the the snare onto Zig, but Panay is here and very dangerous with that shield vault. So Canadia attempts to clear the wave and does manage to do it fast enough, but yeah, it's just chaos, and I think Mint Ice Cube forced their way into this Dragon Pit.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying it's so weird for them to commit Canadian up towards top lane to stop Concrete Muncher's push.
Oh,
Because
wait,
the
Saint
Melt
Aegis
doesn't
is
have
back,
TP. Wait,
though.
Zig's getting low.
Flash away from Zig. Ultimate invested on the Kled. Can they get the execute? He flashes away. Mega Inferno Bomb hits practically nothing. Zig is taken very low. I Fear Nobody, both full HP. Concrete Muncher doesn't have the flash to get away. He's getting mowed down by Darius as Stizra makes the engage. While on the backside, Panay doing big damage as Zig's trying to kite away, but he can't. I Fear Nobody gets the kill, and he gets another one on the Urgot. Now Saint Aegis chasing down Panay, who has to back off, and it is Andromeda forcing Mint Ice Cube off the Dragon, and I think this is going to be them securing the third one. That's Dragon Soul point for them. It is Mint Ice Cube thinking just that they could get it, but the Kled returns, the Corki returns, and they just lose the team fight because Zig is too low to take the fight, and it's just, it's looking dire for them because that's Dragon Soul point for Andromeda. Like, I got nothing else to say here, Drew.
Yeah, the fight just continued a bit too long, and they don't go onto the Dragon fast enough for them to secure it and get out. And so by the time that Kled is back up on the map, like the Corki will be as well. And it's a difficult angle for the side of Mint to take at that very moment, because like they've already been beaten and bloodied in the fight before, and no one was able to actually get their resets off. So they end up losing the additional fight, and they lose the objective that they were fighting over. They can't equalize the Dragon count now. Andromeda, they do go up to that coveted soul point. And I think, we're starting to get into that territory where Andromeda's composition is going to be feeling more and more dangerous, right? Like, the Mel has only died once, the Corki has died twice, the Corki actually still has a bounty to his name, and then the Wukong is really there for disruption. Like, Saint is here more to create a split-pushing threat than anything else. So I think that Andromeda's composition only gets more dangerous from here. Now, that's not to say that Ziggs' burst or Ash's DPS is nothing to scoff at, but if you're just going to eat rogue damage, then like it makes Mel's job super easy. And I don't really think that there's like a true tank on the side of Mint's composition that can really tank up a lot of damage in the same way that, let's say, Urgot can, or even Wukong. So to a degree, Mint are kind of hard-pressed. I do also want to mention that Stizra actually rushed a Knight's Vow this game in the pursuit of keeping Darius alive. I Fear Nobody's went for Zig, though. Oh my goodness.
Oh no, he did the C9's van and just got caught on mid-wave. I mean, it was a good angle from I Fear Nobody, but Cyclone into the burst from Corki. Now the charge goes in. Nobody body blocked for Jeff, and it's a deep dive from Saint of Aegis. The Monsoon is good to get the peel, and I don't think Canadian continue getting the damage off, but the dive was so good from Saint of Aegis, and nobody body blocks, so we got a lot of damage. And now Jellybean Jeff has to be wary because he doesn't have that Monsoon to keep him safe on round 2 of the engage if it happens. Andromeda Esports now down a lot of tools though, so I think they're just going to take their picks and back off, as back off of the reward, take the blue buff, and kind of move up from there.
I mean, ultimately though, nobody's happy tanking that, right? Like the only person you can point to would be Panay, but then especially because you can just throw your E up and take no damage from it, but you definitely don't want Frisky to be tanking it. And so it's really just Pantheon with Aegis Assault who can tank up a Kled ultimate like that. But it's not an easy situation for them to contend with. Once again, there's no truly dedicated frontliner here, but oh dear.
Oh no, it's the death push as Frisky has to flash away. Does manage to live though, as Darius I don't think was in range for the burst, but I Fear Nobody now continuing to scrap, dodging in, jumping in like the monkey he is with the Nimbus Strike and just getting away with the decoy. And it's so hard to really pin anyone down at this point because Andromeda, they have the peel from the Alistar for all of the melee engage that we were talking about, right? Like it's at the point where, the side of Andromeda are grouped up and you can't really get those side lane picks that we saw Panay doing with the Grand Starfall. And it's really up to them to try to win that straight up 5v5, which is hard because the dive tools, I think, are starting to outnumber the peel that Mint Ice Cubes have. So, it's about a 3.5k gold lead, so it's not, untenable. But I think slowly that scaling problem we were talking about here, True, before the game, in the early game, right now, it's starting to creep up because Andromeda are getting very strong.
Yeah, I mean, the bounty for Corki is only growing. Obviously, I Fear Nobody also has a pretty noticeable bounty to his name. But yes, the Corki is hard to deal with. That you have this Alistair that's building super defensively with that Knight's Vow, with that Bucket, in pursuit of keeping the back line alive. And then you also have this like ultra split push threat from Kled, and like Wukong is just constantly out of vision here, and like they're not paying attention to where Wu is. They're not marking him. They're not tracking him. But Cyclone is just a hard ability to contend with, especially when comboed with the Mel or with the Kled or with
charge
the
in.
Alistair.
Nobody tank for Jeff again. He gets this satchel over the wall. Look at the damage as they get the kill. But on the backside, Panay is actually tearing up the backline. Canada taken low, but I think the damage is not enough. The Bear Trap drags back. The Pantheon as Ziggs trying to fire back on I Fear Nobody. The peel is good, but look at Darius who just rips him apart. I Fear Nobody looking for something. The headbutt pulverize is good on the Ash, but a double knockup from the Tornado is better. Zig now kiting back, doing so much damage. Unbreakable Will finally wears off, so it's going to be Zig getting a return kill on the Alistar. Panay created so much chaos in the backline, but just couldn't really get anything. Now the TP returned from Canada, and this is right before the Dragon. There's no jungler available. Mint Ice Cubes need to just fight with the 3 people they have here. There's not a lot of engaged tools available from Andromeda, but this Dragon is getting burnt down very quickly, and they have no smite on the side of Mint Ice Cube to secure it. Frisky getting jumped on, getting killed instantly by the Lethality Kled, and the 1v4 is not going in the favor of the Urgot. Zig is doing their best to get the kills back, but they only get 1, and it's going to be Dragon Soul over to Andromeda as they pick up also another kill, another 2 kills on Frisky, and Concrete Muncher and Ziggs has to just watch as Dragon Soul is secured by the side of Andromeda, and it is looking rough. Not only has the gold lead extended to about 4K, it is a permanent buff for Andromeda, keeping them even stronger at those low health bars.
Yeah, and if you are Mint at this point, like your landscape is like hope you can steal. I think at this point, like it's getting harder and harder to contend with the Wukong, with the Alistair. Like they aren't. Like my issue with Mint here is that for their 13 kills that they have, almost half of them are on Saint, right? Like it's on the guy who wants to fight, who's comfortable with dying, so long as the team is able to get ahead somewhere else. And that's exactly what's happening. This Wukong is 4-1-8. The Mel is 2-1-5. The Corki is 6-2-5. Like these champions are not getting pressured meaningfully. They're constantly surviving. They're constantly growing their leads. And at this point, they are an outright problem for Mint's composition. The Ash Arrow has been relatively ineffective at finding a primary target simply because Mel exists, and they don't have a truly decent engage anywhere else. So ultimately, Mint is kind of just forced to walk forward and hope they can force Andromeda into a fight. And even then, that doesn't really work out very well more often than not, because Andromeda are more than happy to take the fight at this point. Like their tankiness is getting there, their damage is getting there as well, and it doesn't really feel like Mint has the answer. So there's like what was initially a slow bleed is just starting to get worse and worse as like it just hemorrhages harder and harder.
Panay looking for the shield vaults. Dizra missing the pulverize. The one thing I do want to say though is that the gleaming hope of Mint Ice Cubes is Zig, but now he's getting jumped on. Nobody's alone though. Goes for the Cyclone, hits 2, and has to flash away. The charge in, hits onto Zig. There's big damage from Darius, but he gets stunned up. Look at the combo. Look at the AoE from the Mega Inferno Bomb as Concrete Muncher tries to get the kill on Stizra. Stizra just eating up so much, absorbing the damage, and he does go down. And ultimately, oh wait, it's not done yet. Grand Starfall into the backline. They're looking for I Fear Nobody, but Canada with a nice Solar Snare to stop that engage continuing. I mean, it was just Andromeda just going so far deep for Zig. They got peeled off. They're kind of bunched up, and the AoE damage eventually does something if you keep eating it from Jellybean Jeff. And I think with that team fight win, it's Mint Ice Cube securing an uncontested Baron. I thought Andromeda would just run over the team fight after they had that flank angle, but there was no follow-up off that Cyclone from I Fear Nobody. He has to flash away, and then there's just the health bars are too low, and it's no way that they can fight over the Dragon. Or sorry, the Baron.
Well, I mean, it's just such a weird angle because I Fear Nobody is like, okay, look, I have an angle onto the majority of Mint's members, and everywhere else, like on everyone else on his team, is like in river. Right, like they're at the jungle entrance. They're not there where the Wukong is. Yes, it's a cool angle for Cyclone, but if no one's going to follow up you're just going to get blown up, and that's exactly what happened. I Fear Nobody had to get out of that fight, and because you got bursted down so hard, they lost Isra, and that gives Mint like the angle to take the Baron, and now they have the ability to push. Like their ability to fight isn't, still isn't amazing. It's more off of I Fear Nobody's massive mistake that they're able to get that objective, but it is a nice little bit of wind back in their sails. just because like that's not a situation that they really should have found themselves in. I Fear Nobody kind of served it up to them on a silver platter.
Yeah, I mean, you serve it up on a silver platter, and eventually they're gonna take it. So it is a fight around this Elder that is spawning soon in about two minutes. I think it's just the side of Mint forcing for the vision with the Baron waves. Darius in a bit of a sus spot, but Ken Velk over the wall. On the top and bot side, though, it is Andromeda choosing to give up mid prio and the mid turret to get these solo laners a bit more gold. So Saint of Aegis pushing on the bot side, not much for them to get, but I think Canada is going to be able to likely get some gold off those plates. I'm not too sure. But mid lane does go down for Andromeda as it's the tier 2 giving some more gold to the side of Mint Ice Cubes. The gold lead shrinking to about less than 3k here. And I think this next Elder fight is likely going to be where it's all decided here, True.
Yeah, I mean, Elder is up in about 115, so both teams are trying to go forward and start establishing some forward vision for it. It does look like, oh, nobody does get spotted on the red, although he's going to have to walk his way out of there. But yes, it is going to be Andromeda that they start to put down a bit more forward vision. They don't have any vision in River Pit, but that's also because they know they're the ones who have a bit more control over that red side jungle of Mints. Mints, on the other hand, they are walking in that mid lane. They are playing it very defensively. Yeah, play where you know that you are. Oh dear.
On the bot lane, Concrete Muncher now caught by the charge. There's 5-man looking for this Urgon, and I think they're gonna get it. They do. It's a great pick. 35 seconds before the Elder Dragon spawns. I mean, I would say play safe, but Concrete Muncher kind of was behind the wave. I mean, there's not really much you can do when a lethality Kled with his entire team just runs at you. So great use of that Kled ultimate to get the pick. And I think it's going to be, wow, they're actually going for the Kled to fight back. Panay gets him with the stun. Frisky is here for the support, and the Pantheon's doing a lot of damage. Gets another stun. Gets the Empowered Comets here, but now I Fear Nobody's here to take the fight. It's a flash away to the monster. Disengage. Saint of Aegis pretty much 3 shots Frisky, and it's Panay running for his life. Grand Starfall isn't in time. He does get it in time as he flies away into the enemy jungle, but they see him on a ward. Can he get the recall off fast enough? I think he can. But still, that is the ultimate down for the Pantheon. That's a dead Janna. That's a dead Urgot for the next 12 seconds. Andromeda have the first move on this Elder Dragon. I think they can burn it down fast enough here, True.
Oh, absolutely. And there's no flash, no ultimate available for Danae. So, like, even though the Pantheon gets out, the Pantheon can't contest. But all of that is really just the result of Concrete Muncher. Like, the rest of the team is in mid lane. Like, they know, they have a solid idea that, okay, like, we don't see any member on the side of Andromeda. We know that Wukong was around our red. We know that there was at least one person there. We don't see anyone else, so assume that they're all moving together. Concrete pushes out that bot lane, gets hard punished for it, gives the inside angle to set up for that dragon, and then Panay tries to trade it back, right? Tries to trade top laner for top laner, but you only have Frisky there. At this point in time, the Janna and the Pantheon are not going to be strong enough to kill that Kled. It takes way too long. Yes, the Pantheon gets out, but ultimately it's just not really meaningful because the Elder goes over to the side of Andromeda. That's going to be active just for a bit longer. I mean, like, I would say that, you know, if you are Andromeda here, like, you have the Elder buff, right? Like, you have the big, you know, I just win fights buff, and you are looking at having it for just about like 1 minute and 20 seconds. You got to try to force something. Like, you have yet to take a single tower with it. Like, do something with this buff and force give yourselves a little bit more breathing room here.
Yeah, I thought they would try to force something like you said here, True.
I mean, you have Alistair. Look for Hex Flash. Like, look for Hex Flash. Look for something. Like, you can actually see that Canada is able to push down that mid lane inner turret, and now the rest of the team is going to commit for that as well. Like, I get that Ziggs does have a lot of wave clear, but you have the buff just that effectively makes your team auto win fights. Just go. Just look for something. Like you strike fear into the hearts of Mint right now. Like, by existing, the enemy team does not want to be around you at this very moment.
Oh, Canada used the rebuttal and still taking about half HP. So, like you said, the Ziggs just having Zig and Ziggs for the side of Mint Ice Cube just have that wave clear. And they're actually starting to push back Andromeda. I think surely that Elder must be, you know, on the last like 45 seconds. And really, the only thing they got was that mid lane tier 2. Sizra's about half
And
HP,
top lane
so
tier
is
2,
Canada.
yeah.
And I think they're going to go for Baron, but I don't think they can tank it. So, you know, Hawkshot does get vision on them, and they know the health bars are low. This could be a chance for Mint Ice Cubes to do something about it, because Jellybean Jeff does have the TP, and all 4 other members are here.
Yeah, I mean, Mint are able to walk forward, establish a line forward, a line of safety for them to walk through. They do scout out the backs, but they don't see anyone else, so they're not just going to throw things down. As you did say, the Elder did expire, though, so at this point, Mint are a bit safer for a fight. Like, you're still running into this issue of, okay, we don't really have a real frontliner, we don't really have a real engaged tool outside of Ashall, and if they have rebuttal, it's kind of hard for us, but Darius does
He's
get
not in a straight
stunned.
line, he gets stunned up, but they canceled by the Tornado. The charge back in on Jellybean Jeff, who's taken really low. Pinay taken low, but he has the GA. Saint Evade just trying to remount, but can't. Stizra getting the headbutt, and Pulverize is back in the Urgot, so it's a trade of 1-for-1, but the Golden Eclipse doesn't get a single kill. I Fear Nobody now frontlining, trying to fight this 4v1, and
Yeah, it's just free hitting.
Fuel damage, and Zig is just gonna pop off, and he's just killing everyone. It's gonna be a shutdown over to Frisky, and I think this team fight, like you said, is just it for the side of Mint. It's an Andromeda securing the Elder Dragon, but not doing a damn thing with it, and that you know, missed opportunity is going to come to bite them and their entire season, because that is the team fight at almost 40 minutes being won by Mint Ice Cube. Zig was practically in touch the entire time. Darius had to jump away with the Valk, and he just wasn't in sync with his team. And with that team fight, it's going to be Andromeda unfortunately dropping this second game of the Gauntlet, and it's going to be Mint Ice Cubes preserving that spot, getting into playoffs off of a team fight win. They, you know, weathered the storm, and they managed to bring it back in the late game. So congrats to them for making it into FPL Season 4 playoffs.